Welcome to Senior Insights. My name is Cynthia, and today we are going to talk about Mark Twain. Let me tell you a little bit about Mark Twain and why I chose to talk about him, because I have been doing I did a video last week on resilience, and it actually went over very well. People seemed to like it. We talked about the old days, flour sack clothes, and things like that. And it really got a lot of interest, the Depression, whatever. So the moral of that story was resilience and strength and perseverance. And so I wanted to continue with that theme, but with a different twist or a different story. So someone in the comments mentioned Mark Twain's book called Roughing It. And so I looked it up. And I would like to give credit to the person who put that in the comments. I could not find the comment, so therefore I can't tell you who it was. But if you're out there and you're watching this, this wasn't my idea, this was your idea. So thank you. So anyway, I'm talking about Mark Twain, and it's just this book that he wrote was in 1872, but it tells the story of his travels out west. He had a vision. He wanted to go to the Wild West. And, it was just kind of a dream. But then his brother, Orion, got a job offer out in Nevada, I think. And he asked Mark, who was actually Samuel Clemens, to join him and come with him as his secretary. So he was all excited because he was a little envious of his brother because he was getting to go on this Wild West adventure and he was not. Well, now he was able to. So what actually the story entails, roughing it, is what we're doing all the time. We're roughing it. When he was Samuel Clemens, he didn't have any white suit. He didn't have that mustache. No famous quotes and no reputation. He was a nobody, just like us. If we were, I don't know how old he was young, 19, 20, something like that, young 20s. It was in 1860 that he went. And he traveled from 1860 to 1866. But he has traveled all over the world, but we're just going to focus on his trip to the Wild West. So their first adventure is, of course, on a stagecoach. Now, doesn't that sound like fun? We were talking about the covered wagons and stuff last week. So he's on a stagecoach with his brother and two other men. And his brother's Orion, he's Samuel, and one guy has a pistol. It's a two-barrel gun that doesn't shoot straight, but he's got it with him for protection. And the other guy just tells stories the whole time. He makes things up. He tells tall tales. And so it's kind of an interesting combination of people that are in this stagecoach. But imagine traveling on a stagecoach on a bumpy road, dry road, not paved roads like we have. I kiddingly will say that even Anne's truck is probably more comfortable than a stagecoach with wooden wheels, with wire, metal rims and stuff. But so it's dusty and it's hot and it's bumpy and it's crowded. And it's even more crowded. Well, they couldn't bring all the stuff that they wanted to bring because there were limited space. And this was a mail coach. So this coach was also transporting mail cross country. So they were like sitting on mail bags and stuff for this whole long journey. I mean, not very comfortable at all. They eventually figured out how to make them into like mattresses and places that they could lay down and be reasonably comfortable. I don't know how you could be comfortable on a coach that's going like that. The coach does not stop. It keeps going. 10 hours. They changed the driver and they changed the 6 horses, and then they just keep going. So, but they were excited. They were excited because they're going into the Wild West, and they're going to strike it rich. His brother's going to be really important, some bigwig government person. And Samuel, he's going to do silver mining. I don't think it was gold, but it was silver that he was mining. But then he tells a story about fool's gold and gold nuggets. So I'm not really sure about that. I've started reading the book, but I haven't finished it. And I really wanted to use it for this video today. So I would encourage you to pick it up. It's called Roughing It by Mark Twain. He wrote it in 1872, I believe, which was several years after his adventure. This was only one of many adventures that he's had, and I think I'm going to do some more about Mark Twain once I get more comfortable with him. But his idea of going out west was to strike it rich. He wanted to strike it rich, and just like everybody else that was going out west, the gold rush, new towns, new opportunities, free land. But with that came risks. It came risks. Riding on the stagecoach was risky business. There were stagecoach robbers. There were Indians. There were animals. There were all kinds of dangers. Plus, the actual stagecoach itself broke down several times. The axle broke. I don't know how they even fixed it. They were hungry a lot of the time, uncomfortable, afraid, all of those things. But he just kind of took it all in and just went with it. There was one time when they were, on their stagecoach ride, that they got out for some reason. Maybe they were repairing a wheel or an axle on the coach, but he got chased by a bull, and he went up a tree. And he swears that the bull was climbing the tree, that the bull tried several times, and he had this elaborate scheme of how to get away from the bull. And I tell you the whole thing. You read the book because it's a different kind of humor. It's kind of dry and not funny like I am, but it is humorous. He turns everything into something that's humorous. Every discomfort. The guy with the 2-barrel guns, he describes how it goes shooting out this way. But they experienced attempted robberies. They experienced murders. They experienced everything that you would expect, but they didn't expect it. They were just going on an adventure to the Wild West. So he had a lot of adventures once he got further west. He wanted to mine, and he did mine. He had some friends. He did mining in a place called Aurora. That was one of the places. He attempted mining several times, and several times he failed. He didn't look at it as a failure. He looked at each time as a learning opportunity, and he practiced what he learned the next time, and the next time, and the next time, but he was still a failure. But he looked at it not as a failure. He just looked at the human side of it, the humor of it. He also discovered that he was very good at observing the other miners and writing down what their experiences were like, or his thoughts about them as they were mining. And truth to be told, apparently there were a lot of tall tales told about who struck it rich and who didn't. There was a lot less success than we hear about, or that people that went there expected. So that was kind of interesting. And just frontier life in itself. He did mining. He also had a job as a reporter, But he wasn't very good at reporting because he looked at everything humorously. He was young. He insulted some people. He got challenged to a duel. Can you believe that? I did this video one other time, and I said that they came at him with swords. No, it was a pistol duel, I'm sure. But he ran away before it happened. But see, those are things that they didn't expect. He was from Missouri, and, he was just going on this adventure. Well, the adventure found him, all right. But what he did was he adapted. He evaluated every situation. He looked at it. He figured out how he was going to deal with it. Like the duel, he said, I'm getting the heck out of here. And he also learned that you have to watch what you say because you can offend people. So he learned. This was a whole learning experience for him, plus an adventure. And he looked at it as an adventure. He also went on to Hawaii in this trip, but I'm not going to talk about that. So the frontier life had a lot of charm. It had miners. It had saloons with gamblers. And I think he tried his hand at gambling too. Storytellers and dreamers. It was full of dreamers, figuring they're going to make it rich on gold or silver or get a free homestead or whatever, whatever the expectation was. So just learning and studying those different types of people was an education in itself. So the moral of the story really is you got to keep trying. You can't be afraid to try something new. Try it. And let's see. You can fail. You can fail 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. You can continue failing, but you can learn from each one of those failures, and you can take it to your next challenge or your next goal or your next daydream or whatever. And you keep adjusting and tweaking and figuring out how to maneuver through the situation that you're in. And isn't that what we do, what we've done our whole lives? Because we have tremendous resilience. We have tremendous strength. We are smart. And you know what? We do laugh at ourselves. I know I laugh at myself because if you don't laugh, you're going to cry. So what he did was he learned. He also learned how to tell a story. Now, he didn't write this story while he was going through and enjoying the Wild West. No, he wrote it years later after he had more experience under his belt and when he could look back and he could analyze what exactly went on and understand how he dealt with it. He evolved from that trip, was extremely important to him. He even took, the government was using camels, and they were trying to see how they would do, out in the desert and stuff. Well, he took a camel out. Well, he made a hilarious story about the camels, and unfortunately, I don't know it. But let's find out what it was, because it's apparently very humorous. But we all know that from that young man, Samuel Clemens, came Mark Twain, who wrote several books. Most of them we know, Tom Sawyer, Huckleberry Finn. He traveled all over the world. He went to exotic places. Every place he went, he learned, he observed, and he adapted. And that's exactly what we do. And don't forget, I haven't said this in a long time, we are all walking, talking miracles. We have survived. We have survived. We are here. We are strong. And we have adapted when we had to adapt. And we can laugh at ourselves. So I will see you tomorrow. But look up Mark Twain's book or books and read them. And it's getting to be closer to Christmas, so Merry Christmas to you all, my dear friends. I love you all, and I appreciate you very, very much. So I will see you tomorrow, and try and share these things. Somebody told me sharing is the way to go. I'll see you tomorrow.